and that's the image that their parents and grandparents. It's kind of a romantic and idealized, but it was a, you know, there were Palestinians on their land. There still are now, but almost 1 million were displaced by the settlers, and it was a colonial conquest of Palestine. That's why the Palestinians became refugees. So this, yeah, the young generation has this kind of, because they keep hearing about the citrus groves, and you know, that's the image they have, and it's so different. It's contrasts with their reality, and to me that was so interesting to see how they have this kind of image of heaven, almost like paradise. Palestine to them is like a beautiful. Their birds, even the birds are different. You know, I used to say compared to the harsh reality of the camps. You know, and Shatila is a camp that has been really, it's been through so much of destruction and massacres. But you know what? To me, also walking through the camp before I made the film, what inspired me was because I made films before. Since '82, always, you know, focusing war and destruction, and I was there, you know, right after the massacre, and then walking many years later, I heard the children laughing and playing, and you know, and it was such a contrast and such a beautiful spirit, and the contrast. So this film has a lot of that, the contrast, and yes, Palestine is beautiful, you know, and I think that dream is very important for the people and for the young people to keep the hope alive, because when the hope dies, that's where despair sets in, and you find there'll be like the camps will no longer be a place of identity. They'll become just slums full of despair and crime, but they're not. They're a place of identity, you know, where there's a sense of community, and I feel so connected. Because of that strong sense of community. You have war everywhere, especially in the Middle East, and this is not a coincidence. This is, it's a big master plan of destruction. It's not an accident. And there are solutions, and the solutions are political solutions and implementation of the international law, especially, Palestine remains Palestine is a place where there has been injustice, and the international law has to be applied. So sooner or later, this is the only solution. For Palestinians, first of all, to have their freedom under occupation, because the ones in Palestine are under occupation, and the ones outside to have at least the recognition that they were dispossessed and the right to return if they want to. The ideal dream would be for everyone to live together of all, religions. It's not, we tried to have a Palestinian state, but that was not, because of all the Israeli settlements, and there was no implementation of international law. That's why now it's difficult even to have a small Palestinian state, because the Palestinians would accept, I think, that, but it's not, the Israelis are not allowing that. So the only solution, I think, is to have equal rights, just like in South Africa after the apartheid, the fall of apartheid. People, that was, I think, a wonderful example of a possibility of living together despite, segregation, despite racism, despite political differences. It's possible, and this is my personal dream that many millions share too.
No, I definitely agree with you. With the settlements in West Bank going more than 500,000 and Gaza almost in ruins. But talking a little more pedantically, do you, let's say, list out a two-state solution or one-state solution with two nations and so on? Do you have any kind of very specific geographic solutions in mind in case the US-backed Israeli colonial powers given?
Well, we start with there's the 1948 Palestine, historical Palestine. That was the name before it became Israel. I think everyone should have equal rights and live in one state, just like any other country. India is a also, it's not a problem. Why do we have to divide? The whole Middle East now is being segmented and divided, and it's like it's extremely dangerous, and it's inhuman, and it's not viable on the long term. Documentaries, that's the power, because they tell you the stories. They don't show you just the images of destruction. They show you the human. They show you it with. I mean, we try to use our craft and the aesthetic and the poetic and the human dimension that you don't get on the news, because it makes the stereotypes as well. That's all you see, or refugees and the destruction and killing, beheadings. It really contributes nothing, and that's why I really believe in documentary. And now I'm also made a fiction, but that working with reality to bring out really the human side and the beauty and the poetry, and that's what's universal. That's what connects us all. With documentary, you really have to create a connection and trust with the people you're filming, and that's what I did with the children. I've known actually Shatila for many years and know the families, and spent a lot of time with the children, so that at one point they forget the camera and just looking. Every person has a story, but it's important to choose the right characters that will be able to carry the story. And I also made a follow-up to this film called Frontiers of Dreams and Fears. That trust, and people will talk, and that they love to tell their stories because nobody listens. Nobody, this is an opportunity for them to communicate and to tell their story. And I think that's the power of film and documentary.